What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Entrepreneur Life. Again, I'm your host, Kenneth Wilson. And it's been a while, and it's good to be back. And I'm here and relaxing and just doing my thing. And there's some things I wanted to share as I get back in the groove of doing these videos. And I wanted to do more of them because there's a lot to share and there's a lot to really get into and dig into when we talk about entrepreneurship and what it really takes to become an effective and successful entrepreneur. And so today I did want to share something that was in my mind, and it goes back to this old saying that you hear a lot in sports. And that's something I used to hear growing up a lot in sports. And it says that your best ability is your availability. And again, I'll say that again. Your best ability is your availability. And in sports, that means that, no matter what your skill set is, no matter how good you are, no matter you balling out, but if you're not out there on the field, no one's going to see it. And that goes a lot. They say it a lot for people who are normally injured and often injured and things like that. But it really goes to show. I mean, even, sports and athletes and student athletes, and even growing up, I used to have friends all the time who they were the most amazing athletes. They were the best, but they didn't have the grades. So you couldn't even play, and so they couldn't overcome the barriers there was to even get to the field or the court to even play the sport. And so I kind of take that same philosophy and that same thought process, and I translate that to business as well, meaning that if no one knows who you are or no one knows your business exists, or if you can't get out there, no one's going to do business with you. No one knows about you or what you are or what you're doing or what you got going on. So the first thing is you have to be available. You have to put yourself out there. And so that means a couple things. And I think the first thing is that, as entrepreneurs and small business owners and people who are just getting started, you cannot be afraid to get out there to the world. You cannot be afraid to get out there and meet people and network and put yourself and your business forward, because you have no idea who people are and what they're going to do. One thing I always say is do not just depend, don't depend on social media and the internet to just do all that for you. And I think a lot of young entrepreneurs, they fall into that trap very easily. It's very easy to just think that you can network and put yourself out there behind a screen, and it's still not the most authentic way. There's still a lot of people who, enjoy meeting people. And also there's a power in networking. There's a power in meeting people and building relationships and being able to have that interaction, and they learn more about you. They learn more about what you're doing. And a lot of people will just help you out and do things where you be a customer just off the strength of the connection you may have made with them. So there's still a lot in that. So don't just sit behind social media and think that you're going to just be able to reach all these people. One, it's a numbers game. And two, there's a lot of false realities with that as well too. There's so many companies out there I see in businesses and people that have 100,000 followers and they can't even get engagement with 10% of that. So if you have all those people, what is the point? So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Get out there. Even everywhere you go, anyone you come across, always think of that person that may have some value in what you're trying to do. And so if they have some sort of value, every connection, every relationship is that important. So put yourself out there. Again, be available out there. Be available to meet people. Make yourself open. Open up your schedule. Find time to do these things. Because, again, that's availability. Availability. So I say that first. The second thing is also, don't be afraid to communicate. We have to be able to effectively communicate. And again, if you're putting yourself out there, that means you have to communicate and, one, be able to talk about and be able to explain what you are doing. If you come across people and you meet people, you're going to ask, what do you do? And what's the first thing? You have to be able to effectively communicate what you do. I know years ago, people, and they still call it the elevator pitch, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just that language, that rhetoric that every entrepreneur, every business owner should have, that you can go to real quick, that you can be able to explain what you do. And if you need to, there's a lot of resources out there to kind of develop that elevator pitch, or that's just that spiel, whatever you want to call it. Another thing I'll say too, especially in modern times, is that there's a lot of technology out there that's available to us that can help us effectively communicate. For example, your phone, your smartphone. It's probably one of the best tools you have, because it's a one-stop shop for a lot of ways you're going to be able to communicate. Call, text, email, message, whatever, however you get to people, video chat, whatever it is, And so don't be afraid to, one, utilize the technology. A lot of entrepreneurs that come across who still have issues with not emailing and stuff like that, and not even checking their voicemails. Again, those are practices that you got to improve, that you got to be better on. What is it's the worst. And I people a lot of say people say, I tried to contact you, or they say I tried to contact this person, but I couldn't get a hold of them, or they never hit me back. Come on, like so. One thing I suggest is set time limits for how often you communicate or how often you respond to messages and phone calls. I know for me, I got about a 4 to 6 hour window that I kind of put on myself, depending on what's going on in the day. But I give myself a time that I'm going to respond. And sometimes, even if it's just letting people know that you received their message, that you received their correspondence, and that you return to them, you'll get back to them shortly. That is huge for a lot of people, especially for customers who they're trying to come to you for a service. And if they don't get a response or they don't get communication in a timely manner, they're going to find somewhere else to take their business. There's a lot of people that just aren't sitting around all day just waiting on you. If they need something, they need it, and they probably need it in a timely fashion. And so if you don't get back to those people, if you don't properly communicate, you may even lose out. So don't do that. Set limits. Make sure you have ways to communicate. And there's a lot of different tools now. Like I said, your phone, there's messages and there's ways you can receive the message. A lot of times, even with voicemails, they convert it to text. So it comes in a text message, emails. You can get your email just about anywhere now, messages, all kinds of stuff. So whatever works best for you, and you may have to figure out how you want to communicate, and you stick to those, but also make sure that you're really honing in on how you communicate and how you respond back to people. Those are huge, huge, huge steps to take to make yourself available to people. Okay. And don't be afraid to get out there. And like I said, it may even take some trial and error. Like for me personally, I used to go to networking events, and I didn't like certain ones. So I had to start, weeding out how I spent my time and how I was able to get out there. But the one thing I had to make sure every week, and I did this every week, was that I made sure that I was doing something. I was getting out there. And I had to put it as part of my schedule, because sometimes if you tell yourself, oh, I do it, and then tomorrow, and it never gets done. And so don't be afraid to block that time off, just like we would block it off for a meeting or something like that. Block it off. Hey, I'm going to go to this place. I'm going to go to this business. I'm going to pass out some flyers or some cards, and make that happen. Communication. Just the same way, it's like, okay, I'm gonna, if I get emails, I'm gonna respond every 6 hours. I'm gonna have myself a cutoff limit to when I'm going to be able to respond back to people. Or I'm going to have away messages when I'm away, so that people just are getting something. Okay. So those are some quick tips. Again, make yourself available to people. The best ability is availability. If you are not out there, if you are not available to people, they won't come to you. And always don't assume that people are just going to magically find you. It doesn't work like that all the time. Okay. So that's just my spiel. All right. So to wrap this thing up, I'm excited to be doing this again. I'm excited to get back on this. As you can see, we're doing a couple different things now. So not only are you going to be able to find us on YouTube, you're also going to be able to listen to the podcast of this too. So we're actually recording this. We're going to get this podcast out. So again, on YouTube, you're going to be able to find us. If you search The Entrepreneur Life, or you search the company Zyban Enterprises, you'll be able to find us on YouTube. On Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, you'll be able to find this podcast. Also our website, podcast website. So we're going to be at The Entrepreneur Life at simplecast.com, and even on our company website, the zybanenterprises.com. You'll be able to find us. You'll be able to check out more information. We'll have all these links below to wherever you're listening. We'll have it available. And so check us out. Tell a friend. If you have any comments or concerns, anything you want to add, please share with us. Okay. Until the next time, hit y'all later.